Welcome back to Rally Slide, a channel dedicated to the WRC. I'm Gal, a longtime fan of the sport, and today we look at the main things to take from Rally Mexico. So these are the main things to take from the rally for the rest of the season. 1. The hybrid boost at altitude doesn't do much. When the return to Rally Mexico was announced last year, everyone expected the current cars to set new speed records at the rally, as the hybrid unit isn't affected by the high altitude. However, that isn't true even by the base, as the electric engine also wasn't at full power, because it is affected by the altitude as well, as the engine's cooling is affected by the altitude. What's more, the hybrid boost is only for a few seconds, and after it's finished, there is nothing to give, which means that a lot of the rally is done with no power apart from the petrol engine, which lacks air. Adding to that the fact the new cars are heavier and less aerodynamic, and the speed was in Mexico pretty much the same as with the previous generation, they were still fascinating to watch and see, but not any more than what was expected. 2. Katsuta and Lube are in trouble. Sakamoto Katsuta was promoted to the top team this year part-time in the third car, and it appears like he struggles to deal with the pressure currently. After his mistake in Sweden that put him out of contention, and at the end out of a rally, he made another mistake on Friday in Mexico, and he was stuck in a ditch, and for the second rally in a row, out of a fight for the top spots, and all of that on his 30th birthday. Just a reminder that Taka only finished once outside the points last year, when driving for the second team, so something had taken a turn for the worse. Lube might be forgiven for what happened on day 1, as there was a hidden rock, but he made another mistake that put him again out of a rally the day after, when he broke his suspension when hitting a bank. He too was promoted to drive a full season this year, and for both it was their Mexican debut, but the way things go, it appears at the end that they do struggle with the role of being a full-time driver, and they will have to both raise their pace, at least in Taka's case, and for both to show more consistency to stay in the sport. 3. M Sports still struggles with reliability. After last year turned out to be a disaster for them with endless mechanical issues, everyone expected them to do their best to fix it this year. If they have tried, it hadn't gone too well, as the cars had issues so far in every rally this year, and in Mexico it turned into a disaster. First, Tanak had a turbo problem that put him out of contention, and in the same stage, Lube was out for the day with what seemed as a suspension failure, and Serderis was out in fact too, but in his case it was a driver error and not a car problem. It appears that their cars still struggle with reliability, and it needs to stop now, because if it will continue, Tanak will be quickly out of a championship fight. There will be no more opportunities for them for such failures. 4. Lappi speed, and also inconsistency. Pekka Lappi was quick out of the blocks in Mexico, and led over Roger before another accident put him out of the rally completely. It's not the first time Lappi is leading a rally and then crashing. The exact same thing happened in Italy last year, and it seems that Lappi either gets nervous or loses concentration whenever he's fighting for the lead. He may not be threatened to lose his seat, as usually he is capable of scoring decent points and podiums when things go as planned, but he does appear to struggle when there is real pressure or a win at stake. Hopefully for the rest of the season, he'll be able to deal better with such pressure. 5. Pirelli finally managing to do their job. Pirelli had made a terrible job with their tires in the last years, and the drivers had an endless amount of punctures, even in events like Sweden which aren't supposed to be difficult on tires. So when the WRC returned to Mexico, everyone expected an endless amount of punctures, but to everyone's surprise, it wasn't the case. Apart from Sodor and Lube at the top category, no one really had any major issues with the tires, and the drivers weren't talking much about them. There was in fact one more for Neuville, and the penultimate stage on Saturday, but that's all at the top level. The main thing was that the drivers didn't feel like they had to tiptoe to make it to the end of the stages, which is a good sign for the next gravel rallies. So these were the main points to take from Mexico. Like and subscribe for more content regarding rallying. Stay tuned, and goodbye.